Welcome to Women in Leadership Talk, where you'll hear from successful women who are empowering other women with their stories of adversity, resiliency, and success. And here is your host, Vicki Bradley, founder and CEO of Women in Leadership Empowered.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women in Leadership Talk podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. I don't know where you are in the world, but I hope it's beautiful, hot and sunny, and you're enjoying every moment of it. Today, we have a wonderful guest who has written a book that is so timely, and I cannot wait to get into this book. But welcome, Lynn Blades, to the show. Lynn, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Vicki. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you, and I can't wait to dive in and talk about your book and all the great things you're doing. But I do want to give our audience a little bit of a preview of who you are so they know why we're talking. And then also, I want to thank our audience for showing up today. Thank you for so much for being here and listening to the Women in Leadership Talk podcast. We're super grateful to have you. So Lynn is the founder of Legacy Leadership. She's an executive leadership consultant and dedicated DEI advocate. She has strived to cultivate 21st century leadership workforce that truly reflects the diversity of our society. She has spent a lot of time and energy on this fantastic book, and if you're watching us on video, it's called The Quiet Burn. And The Quiet Burn is a wake-up call to genuine self-awareness. When women embrace their power, recognizing their value to society and their potential to bring about change. It points out the way to the future where class, gender, and race no longer serve as barriers. And she believes that when women unite and collaborate, I happen to believe that too, Lynn, they can become, and we are, a formidable force. So, creating that strong foundation and standing together, we can become those agents of change that we all want to see in the world. Lynn, I am so happy to have you here. And I have to tell you, so when I read your book, The Quiet Burn, I had so many sticky notes and so many things I was like, yep, see that happening. Yes, all the time I have clients talking about this. And so I was just honestly, like, I'm so happy to have you here. And, burnout is happening in record numbers. Like, I was on with a couple of clients this morning, both talking about burnout and how it's impacting them. And so what made you decide this was going to be your focus, that you're going to write this great book that helps us break it down and understand it, but then also tips and tools on how to counter it?
Well, Vicki, there's nothing like experiencing something that to make you an expert. And
Very
I
true.
experienced serious burnout, and it manifested in my back probably about 6 years ago now. I had been having some back problems. I was scaling my coaching consultancy, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor informed me, listen, you need to have some physiotherapy. And I kind of poo-pooed him and said, yeah, I'll get to that.
Sometime.
When I have time or when it's over. The things, then came the pandemic, and I hadn't addressed my back issues. And because I have global clients, I was used to functioning really well online. And I became the go person, and my business really did boom because I had clients who were just like, how do I transition? How do I teams? How do I manage work-life balance and all of those things? And I just said, I'll tell you how to do it. I'll tell you how to do it. But what I didn't take into consideration is that I was also the principal in our household. My husband's a film producer, and he was in the middle of making 3 separate, major feature films. They were all in different stages. And our daughter was working on her master's degree. So it was pretty insane. And I was giving everything to everyone. And one day when we had that little break period where we could go out, for those of you who don't know, I live in England, and we could go out, and we have a beautiful heath in London called Hampstead Heath. And I was walking, and I felt like, oh, this is really strange. I'm having such pain walking.
Oh.
Literally 2 weeks later, I had to have emergency back surgery because the two lower discs in my back essentially had collapsed. So now I am the proud owner of a titanium cage with three 3-inch screws in my back. Now that's a really hard lesson to learn. What happened is I, I had been living with pain and ignoring pain for years because I thought I was a superhero.
Yes. Don't we
It was
though?
insane.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And we're conditioned to think that way. We have this kind of pack mule mentality, just keep piling it on, piling it on. I can take it. I can keep moving forward, but we can't. We do that until we break. And I started to see all the signs in my clients and wondered why they were doing the same thing I had done. Why were they ignoring the signs? This is foolish. And I would point it out to them, still ignoring the signs until they fell apart. And I just said, I've got to do something about it. I've got to write this. I literally just did it. It was, uh, I was moved to write it. I felt so bad about
Yeah.
it.
Something bigger than you. Yeah. No, I get
Yes,
that. I get that.
yes.
And when you were just talking about your body, like was telling you, I think about Gabor Mate, who has a fabulous book called When the Body Says No. And he's so
Yeah.
right. And Lynn, you and I might be soul sisters because my own history, now I didn't write a book about burnout, so I should learn from you. But I had a similar situation where it was in my back as well, and I was crippled for like 18 months and couldn't walk, and I wasn't listening. I kept pushing, and partly why I do the work I do today is to help others not do what we did and to really address that. So let's talk about, how we start to recognize we get on that hamster wheel. We're high functioning, we're usually type A personalities, overachievers. How do we like take that pause and get off that hamster wheel and start to say, oh, what about me?
Listen, I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not. We have been conditioned by society to feel, to push past pain regularly,
Yeah.
to feel guilty if we do not push past pain. We have been conditioned to prioritize everybody's needs besides our own. So this is deep in the fabric of our very beings, as women. But I always think it starts with, a temperature check. Get up in the morning, ask your days, do you want to actually get out of your bed? Is it hard to concentrate and stay motivated, even, for the task that you enjoy doing? Do you feel like you constantly have to prove your value over and over again? Do you struggle to maintain boundaries and use that beautiful word, no? And really look how often you put other people's needs before your own. Even when running on empty. So take a check. Things helping me in any way, shape, or form, you start to realize that no, they're not. They're not helping me in any way. And because I'm not helping myself, I'm also not my best to help those people that I care about and that depend on me. And it's hard to do that because we feel guilty. And we also feel pressure to be able to keep it together and, keep up appearances. And that pressure is strong and sometimes overwhelming. So, yeah, it's hard, but it's necessary.
Yeah, and those stories that we tell ourselves, they get to us at a cellular level, right? Because
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's, oh, well, if I can't do this, I must not be enough, or I'm not smart enough,
Yeah.
I'm not, whatever the enough story is, because we all have our version of I'm not enough.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, and so like,
In spite of the
yes.
evidence, Vicki, the body of work, the evidence that says that we're not just enough, we're extraordinary. We're often extraordinary. And that's the thing I think drives me the most insane. The body of work that says otherwise, but we still feel like we're imposters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge. And even you think about like, because you talked about it's ingrained in us from, early age even, you got to keep
Little
going,
bit.
suck it up, like,
Yeah.
you can do this. We push ourselves to that extreme. And then I know for me, and it sounds like from you as well, Lynn, like our bodies were telling us, and you were getting those subtle clues that you were just like, yeah, no, not today. I got too much going on. Can't think about it today. Until eventually one day it's like, nope, no more. Because if you're not listening to me, I'm going to make you listen.
Yes, it's the forced hand,
Yeah.
because the signs, they're there. They're there quite early, actually. And intuitively, we hear them, we see them, but we ignore them.
Yeah.
We ignore the consistent migraines. We ignore the brain fog, that brain fog that comes with menopause, but also before menopause. We ignore body aches and pains. We ignore that we feel disenfranchised and unmotivated. We ignore the signs that are there that our intuition says, I think something's a little bit off kilter. I think I better pay attention. We ignore it. We go, eh, you know, well, that'll be gone tomorrow, or as soon as I finish this project, it will be much,
Mm,
much better,
that's a
and then
classic.
yeah, exactly. I'll do it when that is done, or when this person comes back. We make excuses not to practice self-care
Yeah. Yeah.
and to ignore
It's
signs. Also, I say this, so feel that the world will fall apart if we jump off. I think we really feel that, but it won't.
Yeah,
It
it
won't.
continues on with or without us. And certainly I think
It
your
does.
point, we see the evidence is there that it continues on. And if you think about like, if you worked at a company and then one day you're, you know, reorged out of the company and you think, oh my gosh, and you've put all this time and energy and, blood, sweat, and tears into this company, but the company moves on. And so part of that is up to us to really take that pause and ask ourselves, what are the risks? What are the risk of me not paying attention?
Great
And
question.
what are we telling ourselves? So like I know you talk a lot about like women who are, they run multi-million dollar businesses and they run their households just like those multi-million dollar businesses, but still question their self-worth. That imposter syndrome
Yeah.
you just talked about. So why is that, Lynn? Why do you think that we do that?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, and I'll go back to just that we're systematically considered second class in many, many ways. So you come out thinking that you are not as good as.
Mhm.
You're told in certain ways that you're supposed to be treated in certain ways. You're told that you can't, or you should have a why me mentality instead of a why not me mentality. And like you
Like
said,
that.
we're taught that from little girls. Oh, maybe limit your expectations. And so when we get there, we still have ambition. You can quell it, you can try to hold us down, but we get there. But in the back of our heads, in our subconscious, we are still stuck on, is this really me? Did I really do this? Oh, was it luck or good timing? Or that might
Mm,
not have happened. I couldn't have done it on my own. Oh, when someone compliments you and says you've done a great job, oh, anybody could do it. No,
no.
no, no. Claim it, own it. I'm
Yeah.
like, ladies, hold up your hands and say, I did it. I got it like that.
Yeah.
I really have it like that. And you need me. You need me. And you're not going to compromise my boundaries or make me feel unseen and unheard because you need me.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a hard thing to articulate if you are not taught that from the very beginning, or that somewhere along the way, somebody who has sponsored you has said, listen, you need to think this way.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just hiring you on attainment, we're hiring you on potential. And that is something women simply don't hear enough.
Oh my gosh, yes. So true. So true. It's funny, like I'll tell a story, and I may have said this on the podcast before, but I had a brilliant woman that I was coaching, very high up in one of our banks, and she was head of marketing, and she got a new boss that came in, always a super achiever, always high performance reviews. And the boss said to her, day one, he goes, I'm going to fire you, just to let you know. And
Hmm.
she left the office, jaw to the ground, going, oh my God, I've never been fired in my life. And it was so fascinating because I said to her, what did you say to him? She goes, I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. And it was so interesting because she left there feeling like she had done nothing. She had not contributed anything to this organization. She felt worthless, to your point. And how could this even be happening? And it was so fascinating because the company gave her a severance package and then came back to her like 2 months later and asked her to take over a completely different department as the VP. And but what she told herself was, and told them, I don't think I'm the right person. And I said, why
Mm.
on earth would you say that? They see your value. You've ran all these different departments within this financial institution. Of course, you're the perfect person for that job. But that story that you were talking about, right? That story got so ingrained in her head that it was like, oh, I'm not good enough now because one person said, I'm going to fire you. Had nothing to do with her or her skills. He was a new person coming into this organization. He wanted his own team. Like,
Of
it
course.
wasn't her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's how delicate that line is. That's how
Yes.
delicate it is that we allow people to tell us that we're less than, and we
Yeah.
believe it in spite of the body of evidence.
Yeah.
Yes, it hurts. Of course, it hurts when someone says that you're fired. Yes. But, and, and you should feel that moment. But you also have to look at your list of achievements and understand that you have these amazing signature strengths that are valuable, necessary. You run teams, you're a leader. You run your home. You probably run the books in your home, So listen, there's not enough evidence to say that you're less than. There usually isn't, but you have to remind yourself of what you've done. And as a coach, I ask my women to write it down. What are the five
Mhm.
signature strengths? Look at those. Whenever you feel a lack of confidence or feel like an imposter, look at the signature strengths. Go to your list of achievements. Look at what you've actually done. This is concrete evidence of who you are and your badass self. So never, ever forget it. It's just so important to have that reference right in front of you and to have it right here and to be able to say, I did that. Say it out loud. I did that using the I in the biggest way. Yes, of course, your team is necessary and you thank them, but I did that. It was under my leadership.
Right. That's right. And so that just brings up a whole set of questions because I am very similar to you, Lynn. I get my clients to, make their list of achievements, really look at what are you most proud of? Because we all have those tough days and we can go to imposter syndrome or we can have self-doubt, but that's a moment. That's not who you are. And but the resistance that comes from even creating that list. It's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Well, tell me what you do this week. Like there's every day there's things you should be proud of that you were able to accomplish. Like, do you see the same thing? Do your clients
I do.
resist?
I do, and at the same level that you see it. Senior VPs, CEOs, VPs, you know, you get them there when you get them at the director level, I'm just pounding it in. What you need to understand, what you need to understand about yourself, your values, what you're bringing to that top table, how to prepare yourself to get understanding that you have to be able to blow your own horn because you are
Mhm.
not due, and that you need to ask for L&D and you need to ask for sponsorship because we're over and undersponsored. I see it. I see it at every single level, and I'm surprised. I just asked a global head, a client of mine is a global head, a Royal Bank of Canada, and said, "Oh, I want to do an interview with you for, She Means Business, part of my newsletter." And she goes, "Why would you want to interview me?" I'm like, "Have you
Why?
learned anything from me?"
I love it. I love it. Why not you?
Unbelievable. But it just goes back to how we're socialized. It goes back to how we're conditioned right from the very beginning to doubt ourselves, to
Yeah.
doubt we're enough and that we can do and that we are necessary.
Yeah. And that's a great example because it doesn't matter how big your role is, those moments still creep in. Those times when you're like, oh, why would you want to talk to me? Well, why wouldn't I want to talk to you? I know it's like with me with the podcast, right? It's like I feel so blessed. I get so many amazing, amazing individuals on this podcast, and we talk about everything from sex trafficking to infertility to leadership. Like we're talking about everything, and every single person has a unique story to share. And that's what you got. I think partly what you got to remember is like every single person has their own gift. It doesn't always have
Yes.
to be a competition. Everybody has their perspective, and that is important to share.
Absolutely, absolutely. Buying into your USP is key. It's key to your confidence. It's key to the way you project yourself. It's key to the way you protect your time and your energy. To believe that your time and energy deserves to be protected.
Yeah.
So we're willing to compromise too much. We're willing to say yes too much. I mean, I'm sure in your audience there's been every single one of them at some point has opened up their mouth and said yes when inside they are screaming no. I
So
know. No. We all do it. We're all
it's
guilty of
true.
it. But the more you're conscious of it, the more you really kind of go, is that going to benefit me? Or is that part of my job description? Or is somebody just like throwing that at me when I should be in that playground? Yeah, you have to stop long enough about people please going to wear you out as well. So letting go of going, I'm worth it.
Yeah.
I what I need because and focus on what I'm really good at, then I'm going to be my best for everyone, especially
Yeah.
for me. But it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is.
It's repetitive behavior because you have to remember how long it's been pounded into us to think otherwise.
Yes, very true. Very true. And shifting those stories from, you know, I'm not worth it or I'm not enough to a space of self-love, self-respect, that helps you build the resilience even, right? And reminding yourself who you really are. Sure, you might have had a bad moment, But giving yourself grace, like I know for
Yes.
myself, I was notorious for saying things like, I'd be like, I would do something, I'd be like, oh God, Vicki, you're so stupid. And then one day I was like, oh my God, I would never say that to my best friend. Why would I say that to me? Right. But to your point, we're conditioned and it's the
Great
stories
point.
we tell ourselves. And so having that grace and compassion for yourself is so important because there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown at us all the time, and especially women, right? Like we take on most of the domestic responsibilities at home. We have thriving
Absolutely.
careers. And so it behooves you to remind yourself to show some self-compassion, have grace with yourself.
Yeah. No question. No question that you should give yourself grace. No question that you should remember that Superwoman is a cartoon character. Drop the cape. It's
Mm.
okay. You're only human. And to step back when you need to step back. But what we do is we suffer in silence. So I will happily hold up my hand and say, one, I don't like, multitasking. I don't believe in it. I think it means that you're doing everything at 60%. I really
Mm.
don't. I really don't like it. So I really, and of course, I'm not crazy. I understand that sometimes you have to multitask, but whenever possible, I prioritize, and I make sure that that priority list is achievable. It's short. I don't like carrying things over for days and days or weeks. What's on the short-term list, what's on the long-term list, and what can I delegate? What can I give away? Because this is not playing to my strengths. So I really believe in delegating as well. Even though, hands up, I like to control, and you probably do too. So I mean that, letting the art of letting go of control. I don't
Yeah.
need to control everything. I don't. And it took a long time to understand that. It took age and life experience. For
Likewise.
ambitious women, we're ambitious, so we generally do like to control. But actually, that can slow you down because you're trying to control everything, and that's really not called, being streamlined about things, and it's wearing you out. So
Yeah.
letting go of control is really important.
Yeah.
And understanding that if you do let go of control and if you've surrounded yourself with people who are better than you at the things that you are not good at, you're going to get there faster and you're going to have a better product.
Yeah. That's
It's
a
going
that's
to increase the bottom line.
Yeah. And that's a great comment on so many levels, Lynn. Like so many levels, because it's also you're setting up the next generation of leaders to understand, to trust your people, to, empower them to make decisions. And they're more engaged when they feel like they have the responsibility of decisions versus us micromanaging. And to your point, guilty, in my early corporate days, like, oh yeah, perfectionist, wanted to make sure everything was perfect. And people become disengaged when you do that. They don't want to work, or they just go, okay, Lynn's decision,
You
she
do it.
takes responsibility for it all.
It's true. It's so true. And the pursuit of perfection is just faulty thinking. There is no such thing as perfection. The
I know.
flaws are what make us beautiful. Okay. So, and that is that pursuit of perfection, which, trust me, I'm sure a lot of your high performing clients are perfectionists. I know mine are. I'm like, this is a foul. Don't
Yeah,
do it. You're expending time and energy. You don't have to try to achieve something that is impossible.
yeah. That's a
So
great way to
it's
say
the way we
it.
look at it.
Yeah.
We put too much pressure on ourselves.
Oh, we
We
do.
we put so much pressure on ourselves. We put superhuman pressure on ourselves as women. And we just really need to get real about it and rewire. The world would be so much better if we rewired and we ran things.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's so true.
Look at what these men have gotten us into.
I seriously, seriously,
Yeah.
like I know we gotta work on that. So, there's this other part of, when we get to the burnout stage, shame plays such a role, and people are so, they feel so guilty, they feel embarrassed. Like, talk to us about what role shame is playing.
Shame is a big deal, because the expectations are unrealistic. The expectations of what we should be doing and how we should be running our lives and everybody else's life. When we crack or we are unable to achieve what we think we should achieve, as well as what society thinks we should achieve, we feel guilty. We feel guilt and shame. And we're kind of made to feel guilt and shame. It's funny too. Sometimes it's not that in your face, "Well, why didn't you get that done?" Sometimes it's just like, "Oh, I thought you might be able to have done
Hmm.
that." It's the kind of insidious um, microaggressions that eat away at you and make you feel like I'm not enough.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I feel shame that I couldn't take care of everything. Instead of actually going, I feel bad I didn't take care of myself and protect myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? That's what happens when you have a life-changing moment.
Yes. Yes.
You kind of go, oh, faulty thinking.
I get it now.
I and you know what? I think it was always there that I really should actually maybe slow down. I should be thinking about myself. How did I get into this mindset in the first place? Well, it's often our role models. My mother was is
Mm.
extraordinary. She'd have breakfast on the table at 5:30 in the morning before she'd go to the CIA and do her job and got promoted to running an entire department and left with the Intelligence Medal of Honor. And all I can see is, oh my God, you did that and you have 3 children and you've been married forever. How did you do it? I don't
Yeah.
know how she did it. I don't know how she did it. I still look at her with awe and wonder. But I see the toll that it took on her too. She had breast cancer twice. She worried herself too, endlessly,
Mm.
I'm convinced, into sickness and took on responsibilities. I mean, I have a great father too, but she really was, she was running the home
Yeah.
and doing a big job
Yeah. Yeah. And
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 never complaining about it. Rarely complaining about it.
yeah. Well,
That's
because
what I grew up with.
and I was going to say, many of us, in the same age group, right? That is what we
Mhm.
grew up with. Like, and
Yeah.
our moms were martyrs. Like, they did it all and never complained, to your point. And, I, my kids will say to me, "Mom, you're so active. Do you ever just sit?" And I'm going, "What am I teaching them?" Right? But they both on the opposite though, and which is a good thing because my daughter will say, "Oh, no, 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 I need downtime, mom. I just worked, 3 8-hour shifts and I just need to recharge. So I'm just gonna go to my room, read a book." And it's like, good on you. She's figured out at 20 years old boundaries, and she knows what she needs to recharge, where I think we grew up when there wasn't really that luxury of that. And so we have generations that have been doing this, and the kids today, or they're not kids, they're young adults, but they're saying, "Yeah, no, I don't want to do that." That's too
Yeah.
much.
It's too much. And mine's 28 now, so but she's still in that generation that questions doing too much. But also, as a Black woman, and what any woman of color will tell you, you also have that constant cultural thing in your ear. You've got to work twice as hard to get just as far.
Anywhere.
Always,
Yeah,
always, just like it's
true.
always in your head. You've got to. And I think finally at the age of 65, I'm like, no, I don't. You know, I just need to get into more people's faces and say, no, I
Yeah.
don't. I deserve it. And you'd be surprised the reactions that you get when you actually do just own it.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, right, you asked. I think I'll give that to you. But we're afraid to ask for what we want.
Yeah.
We're afraid that if we open up our mouths and we say, this isn't right, or I need more, or give me that promotion, that there's the fear of rejection and the fear of being, let go or looked at as who does she think she is and that kind of thing. Wipe it out of your head.
Yeah.
If my mama told me when I was a little girl, don't ask, don't get.
I say that all the time, Lynn. That's one of my favorite. If you don't ask, you don't get. So
Right.
you
And I
better
probably
ask for it
got
if you want
nicknamed
it.
Gimme, You know? And you'd just be surprised how much you get when you actually simply ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Ask,
that's
open up your mouth. Also, talk about things, let it out. Do not let the things that are wearing you out fester.
yeah.
Let them out. Talk about them. Release that down because it will wear you down and it will burn you out eventually.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, the whole point of your book is, recognizing and preventing. And so, everything we're talking about, these are all things to help you recognize, right? And, even when you were just talking about
Absolutely.
saying no, like the power of no and the power of yes are both so important and discerning when you need to use those. But even that, like, even recognizing, like, why am I saying yes or no?
Yes.
Like, what
Hmm.
what is feeding that? And when you understand that, that really does help you start to shift on how you think about yes and no, right? People will often,
Absolutely. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, people will often, especially in our working world, but even our children do this. They'll, oh, mom, can you do this? Or, if you're the leader in the organization, somebody will come to you and say, oh, can you do this? They're asking you, but you need to turn around and ask the questions. Why does it need to be me? Right? Like I hear this so often from women leaders. They'll say, everything gets put on
Yeah.
me. They know I'll get it done. And it's like, okay, pause. Is that really what it is? Right? Or are you not asking the right questions? Why does
Yeah.
it need to be me? What is preventing you from doing it? Is it that you need
Yeah.
support or resources or whatever? Like, take time instead of just being so quick to yes or no it. Discern why, understand why.
And you know what? That is a crucial, crucial point. And I think that mentality of, well, if you want it done right, do it yourself, you will grind you down,
Hmm.
and also it doesn't benefit you to say yes to everybody who comes to you with a problem. It's much more beneficial for not only you, but the person asking you to do it. It's more beneficial for them to actually go away, rethink it, see what you can come up with, and then come back to me. And if you're still having problems, let's look at it together.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't have to
empowering
take
them.
that load. We
Yeah,
take on it, we just take it all the time.
yeah. No, so good, Lynn. So good. So where can people find your book?
I'm on every book retailer online, and in the States, in Brentano's, and England, Waterstones, and Blackwell's, and some local bookshops. But of course, Amazon.
Of
Of
course, you have
course.
to be on Amazon.
Yes, it's on Amazon. It's become a bestseller now. So that's really, really a
Yay!
lovely thing. So yeah, but
Congrats.
It's out there. Thank you very much. And I think you can even probably get it on my website now. As my as my web people keep telling me. Yes, I think we've added
So
it.
where would they find that, Lynn? What's the website?
www.lynnblades.com.
Beautiful. Okay.
And please join me on LinkedIn, especially if you want a good rant.
That's what I was going to say. Like, where can people find you? Like, Lynn has spent a lot of time and energy really giving great tips, tools. There's QR codes through the book to help you do practices. If you have questions, reach out to her on LinkedIn. Ask her, right? Like, that's why I bring these amazing women on the show to help you have tools, resources to help you navigate some of the challenges that all of us go through as we figure out how to be our best selves, our best version of ourselves. And that's whatever version you decide it is, not what everybody else thinks you should be. So Lynn,
Yeah,
just to wrap this up, what would you like to share with the audience that you would like to ask of them to do after they leave this show today?
I'd really like you to sit down and think about your value and what you bring to the table. And I'd like you to just own it. Own your beauty, own your greatness, own it all. Own what you bring and understand that you are only human. And I'd like to leave you with my mantra, and it is something that I repeatedly say every day, and that is, I am a force for good. I am a force for change, and I am a force to be reckoned with.
Ooh.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. And so are all of you. You just need to believe it. Buy in. And remember, sisterhood works. So when you're on your way and you're making it through that door, put your hand back and bring someone who looks just like you, because we need a lot more women at the top tables.
Yeah. Love that. Love that, Lynn. That's a great way to wrap up the show today. So audience, write that down, put it on a sticky note, have it on your bathroom mirror, remind yourself who you are, be that force, and definitely bring that next person up with you. There's so many great communities out in the world now. And, that is how we do make change, is women coming together, bonding over the stories. Like Lynn and I didn't know we both shared a similar story on, our body knowing best, but all of us have those stories. All of us have those stories. And so share with somebody, what's your story, right? Like, we want to hear these things. Tell us. So Lynn, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Thank you for bringing the quiet burn. I'm going to put it up on the screen one more time. If you're watching us on video, that's the quiet burn, Lynn Blades. And you can find that on her website, Amazon, all your favorite bookstores. And audience, I want to thank you for being here, because I do know you have a choice. Listen, if this episode resonates with you, please do share it. I know we have a lot of women and men out there that are burning out. Share this episode with them. Pick up the book, share it. Like, you're going to pick up tools and tips that will help you navigate burnout. And it's an epidemic right now, probably bigger than COVID, I would say. So take some time and do that for you, right?
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Vicki. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today.
Oh, Lynn, thank you. I'm so thrilled to have you here. And audience, please do leave us a review. Let us know how we did. Let us know if these stories resonate with you. You can visit the Women in Leadership Empowered website. You can take our free leadership quiz, or we have a free mini course that you can take, which is 2 episodes, all about fear and habit. So I think you'll enjoy that. So thank you, everyone. And we will see you on the next Women in Leadership Talk podcast. Lynn, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for bringing your book to the world.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Vicki.
Thank you for joining us for WIL Talk, sponsored by Women in Leadership Empowered. To learn more about our programs, please visit www.wilempowered.com. We look forward to seeing you in our community.